Detroit. Going to Detroit.
Oh, excellent. Not very far
Yep.
from me at all.
Yeah.
Big day. Well, good evening, everyone. I am Steph Hawkins from the Bluegrass chapter. I'm the Vice President of Community Outreach and Engagement, and welcome to another adventure of BAs on the Streets. We have an excellent guest with us tonight. His name is Justin Cockerham, and we're thrilled to have you. We can hardly wait. I could hardly wait to contain myself to start asking you the questions because I'm just fascinated by your background and how you got to where you're at and all of that. So we'll get started. So Justin, would you like to tell us about yourself and about your BA background?
Yeah, so Justin Cockerham. I live here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm still fairly new to the BA profession, but it's safe to say that I've hit the ground running on it. Um, 2 years ago, I was working as a application support specialist for the job that I'm at now, and essentially that consisted of me supporting the ERP that we had or that we have for the company. We had some reorganization and restructuring, and with that, we had to basically from the ground up try to identify our issues with the ERP and any basically just try to understand what the users are doing and how they're going about uh, doing their day-to-day work. And it actually started as an idea. I brought up an idea to the CIO, and I was like, why don't we just interview with various business units within the company and understand their processes and see how they're working within the software. And so he thought it was okay. So I just kind of hit the ground running with that.
Excellent.
And from there, he was like, he pulled me aside one day and he was like, what you're doing is basically business analysis stuff. And I was like, oh, I didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, I was just trying to help, really.
Right.
And, he was just like, yeah, just go ahead and start looking up some things on BAs and what they do, job descriptions, all that stuff, and just basically tell them how I felt about it and if that's something that I would like to progress into for my career. And of course, I did my research and I was like, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. This doesn't seem too hard. And so from there, I've been mentored and I'm still learning, of course. I mean, being a business analyst is a constant uh,
Absolutely.
learning cycle. And from there, yeah, I've just been in this role ever since.
Wow. So, so the role that you actually kind of sounds like you define for yourself. So are there other you don't have to tell the name of your company, but are there other BAs in your company, or did you actually bring in the role and help make that something that's an actual role within your company?
There are actually I guess if you count from other departments, but within the IT department itself,
Okay.
because that's how it started, there wasn't any position like that before.
Okay. And IT is definitely a space where whether you call yourself an IT person and perform IT function, you're definitely doing BA types of activities.
Mhm.
Like all the time that becomes ingrained. So did you actually transfer from the role that you had and now you're like truly a BA?
Yes, and it happened
Oh,
so
cool.
fast. I was just like, this is what's happening now. I'm like, this is
Just
this is life.
but then you can, if you're in IT, then you can translate that world and all
Mhm.
of that. So when you were looking for the knowledge, right? Like I need to
Mhm.
figure out what a BA is. Like if that's what I'm doing and I'm have a passion for it and it makes such logical sense, like, if you have to look at the ERP system, how are you going to go about doing it? Did you go out to IIBA? Did you reach out to a chapter? How did you like find the information you needed to like cement in it what you wanted to do?
Honestly, research, and I was looking at the various certifications that would apply to this role as
Okay.
well. IIBA came up, and I just thought I'd look a little bit more into this and see what's going on, and here I am.
Oh, excellent. Well, IIBA space is lucky to have you. That's excellent. Yeah, and there are a lot of great certifications that we could talk about in a little bit that really can help you go whatever direction that you want to go in within the
Mhm,
BA space. So that is such a cool way to start.
mhm,
So um, now that you're working on the ERP, solution, right? Trying to figure out, the impacts and the changes and all of that. Where are you at within that? Is it like you're at the beginning, middle? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Honestly, it's definitely in the middle where it's just an ongoing thing. But with that being said, there has been great improvements that's been made, and not just with the ERP, but there has been some other applications that the team that I've been working with, we've implemented into the company, and
Okay.
it's really helped out just across the board with various business units, and uh, I've had the I've had I've just been happy to be a part of all these various projects to gain the experience to get to where I am now. So, but yeah, it's we're definitely much into the middle of it, and um, just it's just a lot of learning and uh, consulting with the subject matter experts, and
Right.
uh, yeah, just a lot of interviews with various employees,
Right.
uh, figuring out their processes and things. And but I do enjoy it. As it can be a little tedious at times, but I mean overall, I love the people that I deal with and
Right.
collaborate with. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, excellent. So it sounds like you're using some of the BA techniques, interviews, elicitation, all of
Mhm.
that. So, and there's so many of those that are available at our fingertips. When you think about IIBA and BABAC, and then just some of the agile methodologies that it supports. So within your organization, are you following? Is it are you taking or is this project being run like a traditional waterfall, or are you more into the agile space where you really get to keep learning and repeating, and it's not
Mhm.
in delivering sooner than later?
Yes, it's definitely the agile methodology. I don't think I've ever worked with a project that it was we knew everything from the start. I've
Okay.
never worked in a project with the waterfall methodology, but it's always been agile, at least so far.
Right. At least so
But
far.
yeah,
Yeah.
and but with that being said, yeah, it really gives us room to grow. So, for example, um, some of these other applications that we have implemented into the company, there are applications that we had no information on, but
Right.
we with a lot of research and consulting with the vendors and the uh, I guess uh, their customer success team on their end, understanding what the application does and what they're able to program and all the ins and outs of it. Um, we have been learning, and while we have been learning, we also do our best to deliver
Okay.
the objectives and to the stakeholders
Okay.
and just gather the requirements around that. And, it's just a repeating cycle, really.
Okay, excellent. Which, having done waterfall and many years with that, with different types of projects and doing agile types of projects,
Mhm.
you really truly find like there are some cases where a waterfall approach seems to work best based on what you're doing, maybe a
Yes.
cost implementation or something like that at the
Mhm.
beginning. But customers, stakeholders truly do enjoy having that real-time feedback and being able to see something before it's delivered, getting something delivered sooner than later with proofs of concepts or prototypes.
Mhm.
be able to experience in because not everybody is a person that can visually and mentally understand when you say these 50 requirements, right? Like, here's all
Yeah.
the things that it's going to do. You're going to love that, and they're spinning, right? So
Mhm.
being able to really get in there and keep iterating through that really makes sense. So that's great that you have that opportunity to do that, and that people want to be able to participate in it. Sounds like you've
Yeah.
got some great stakeholders with that. Okay, very cool. So someday when you work on a waterfall project, you need to let me know so we can talk about what that means.
Yes, I'll definitely let you know.
What that experience is. And so, we've been talking about like all of the things that we find satisfying about being in the BA space, right?
Mhm.
We had a little bit of a conversation before we started it, being able to really uh, use your muscle, right? Being able
Mhm.
to talk to people and learn what they have to say, and be able to take that and think create in a creative manner, I would say, right?
Mhm.
Leveraging the vendor and other resources and all of that. So from a finding that satisfaction in there, has there been certain things, whether it be BA techniques or people or just parts of it that you really find just like super satisfying, that it's just like some of the best parts of what you do?
I have to say, I really enjoy process mapping, probably a lot more than I should.
Oh, I like that.
Uh, I don't know, just the idea of being able to visually see what's going on, because I'm the type of person sometimes, like, uh you can tell me what you do all day and I'm listening, but I'm not quite understanding, you know?
Right.
But if I'm walking through and like making these boxes and these little arrows that goes along with it drives the actual process of what's being done and
Right.
what needs to get accomplished. I'm like, okay, it makes a lot more sense. And
Right.
I've just always been a visual learner. And even whenever I get into different meetings, I can just whip up the process document that I've been working on and process map I've been working on. And I can show other stakeholders and higher execs uh, to just get a visual idea of what's going on.
Right. In from that perspective, from my experiences, people really, really, truly do enjoy that. And when
Mhm.
you can start vibing off of people, because then they understand what you're saying, right? Because
Yeah.
before that, you're asking questions and they're providing feedback, and people do a merry dance, right? They'll talk about one
Mhm.
thing and bounce over to 20 things. And then our job is to connect the dots, right? Understand what they're saying, piece it together and say, okay, what is it did they really say, or what did they really mean? And being able to flow that out is interesting. So are you finding that based on like the level of what you're at or the role that people have, that you're like flexing your process mapping? Like maybe leaders want it at a high level, so they see this nice visual because leaders love visuals,
Mhm.
whereas you get with some of the developers or other people, they're just they just want it very, very detailed. Are you having that experience?
I am, yes. Uh, yeah, for the most part, I've mainly done high level flows. I have done a few more that digs down into the weeds.
Okay.
But for the most part, they're more high level. And here recently, I've also done quite a few future state
Okay,
process flows.
excellent.
So it's really fun putting the different pieces together,
Yes.
seeing how they all correlate.
Yes. Yes, it is. And it's always fun too when you've been working on future state and your leader or somebody and you're in a meeting and they ask you, they're talking because, they're presenting information, all of that. And then
Mhm.
they toss it over to you and say, hey, will you explain a little bit further? And then you really get that opportunity to, talk about all of these things that you're visioning to, get their feedback and then make some changes and all of that. So that is so cool. So
Mhm.
are you using any like tools? Like, do you have in your company, like you have Jira and Wiki or Miro? Are there any types of applications or tools that you get to use or you want to use?
Yes. So mainly I've been using a lot of Visio.
Okay,
I do a lot of uh, this is not really like a tool. Well, yes, it is. Microsoft Word.
it's
Because
still a
I've
tool. Yep.
Yes, it is a tool. I create here lately. I've been creating a lot of project charters, so I've been kind of tapping into the project management aspect a little bit.
Okay.
And I've also, well, I've always been doing this since I've uh, gotten into this role, but I've been creating a lot of uh, training documents for any users that will be using an upcoming application that we'll be implementing to the
Oh,
company.
that's excellent. Yeah,
Mhm.
that always seems to be something that, everybody gets busy and rushed and all of that, whether you're doing a lot of documentation or a little bit.
Mhm.
The training materials always sometimes goes on the wayside and you need to put a focus attempt. But then once it's implemented, whatever you roll out, that training guide is like super
Oh
important.
yeah.
Because even if you give training, people walk away and they can't remember, or
Mhm.
they're busy and so that's great that that's something that you get to work on. Are there other tools that you hope that either can be brought into the company or that you might learn to use somewhere else? I know from us in the Bluegrass chapter, we frequently do BA techniques, like we do a social event, and we always pull in like some tool and some type of like a collaborative game or something, so that way people that haven't had the experience in using a tool could get a flavor for it and see if they even like it. Is there something that you're interested that you'd like to learn or see?
Mhm. I would actually like to learn more about Microsoft Power BI. Uh,
Okay.
I definitely know it's an analytics tool, and you can do.
Hmm.
There are some reporting aspects to it. That's about all I know about it. With that being said, I wouldn't mind taking a few courses on my own, or uh, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing anything like that. So, oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't mention this before, but we do use a SharePoint as well to keep track
Okay.
of project updates. We do use that.
Okay.
But Microsoft Power BI is something that I would definitely like to know more about and
Right.
work more with.
And you could definitely use it within your SharePoint environment. And so when you're doing your, and forgive me, now you've got me really thinking here. So when you're gathering your requirements and all of that, are you envisioning using it from like capturing it in SharePoint and some of the functionality within there and like expanding that from like a tool perspective? Is that where you're thinking of going?
Typically what I've been doing, and I don't know if this is a process that can be improved or if it's just good the way it is right now, but um, as of right now, I've just been documenting the requirements on a Word document and
Okay,
then sending it out to like our internal project teams message.
right,
That's I guess it sounds a little informal, but at the same time, everybody understands what's going on and
right.
what we're dealing with. So I think just as long as uh, we're communicating and collaborating, I don't think it's a huge deal, but I'm sure as time goes by, we might think of something different. I don't know. But as of right now, that's been our main mode of communication.
Right. And there is nothing wrong with that at all. I mean,
Mhm,
communication is key and agile is about the right size of the information as long as people understand the requirements and leaders understand and
mhm,
sounds amazing. And because I was asking from a also from just by our own perspective because we do like to when people have an interest in learning tools and techniques and you're really trying to explore all of the things that you can do, especially you with creating a role, making that role happen and driving forward, like if there was something that was that you would want to learn that we could bring that in one of the sessions. So I'm going to be pinging you on that on coming to one of our things and we can work on some other tools too.
most definitely.
And yeah, and there's a lot of times, when you talk about like how or where you're gathering this information, right? Especially when you're new to the BA profession.
Mhm,
So for, as people have been around for years and years, people have toolkits of their own, right? Like you
Mhm.
have a, like people, you have an old school project plan, you have an Excel spreadsheet that it has your raid log, like risk, issues,
Mhm.
changes, decisions, all that, just whatever it is based on the role that you have in a company. And then somebody sends you something and you accumulate things, and over time you build this, this toolbox of things that you can pull out and use over time,
Mhm.
no matter what company that you're working in, because different companies use different tools, right?
Yeah.
You'll go to one place and they don't have a formal process or software that you can use to
Mhm.
really like expand it. And then you go to some of the larger companies and they have Jira and wikis or Azure DevOps and all of that. So it's like, um, being able to pivot or understand that, the concepts of what you're doing, regardless of whether you put it in Word or something else, are
Mhm.
sound, right? Because it's just a tool to enter it, to be able to make sure you've captured it and communicate, right? At
Right.
the end of the day. So, I'm so hopefully as your career progresses, you'll be able to have that chance to see some of these other things as well. So from a being new to the profession, what type of advice would you give to other people, to share with them, right? Thinking about like all the things that you've learned so far, and
Mhm.
the way you've driven your career path, like actually creating it. What would you give? What kind of advice would you give?
I would definitely say keep learning. Knowledge is power. I know it's cliche, but it's the truth.
So true.
Um, yeah, I would definitely say just keep learning. And also, I mean, hello, join a community like this, IIBA, network with fellow business analysts and um, get certified. And be be open and being able to collaborate and communicate
Okay.
effectively.
Okay. So effective communication, that is key, and also, getting comfortable in being able to do that and
Mhm.
having the opportunity. It sounds like you're getting some opportunities to be able to, not just be a note taker or somebody,
Mhm.
that's documenting, but is actually somebody that's able to drive the process along. So in thinking about that, in what and where you've gone, what are there any of the certifications that you're thinking about exploring? I mean, our chapter, and I know I keep talking about our chapter, but it's got
Mhm.
a wealth of resources available, which is why I love being a member of it. Are there any of the certifications that like s- seem to be of interest? Because we have some experts here. We have Aaron and Bill Powers that really can help in the conversation talk about like what it what it could do for you, and just some of the advantages. Is there anyone that's of interest?
Definitely the CBAP and the CCBA.
Okay.
Um, I did take a class with this chapter for the CBDA. The last one, I think, was it over the summer or during the fall? I forgot. But I did, I was a part of that. Um, I didn't really get to study for it to prepare like I
Mhm.
wanted to. Just had a lot of stuff going on, but I would like to get back into studying for and even preparing for the CBDA.
And did you find from the classes, like, in reading the Babak and different types of things, so you read it, you learn it, you go to study for an exam, and then as time goes on and you have new experiences at work or just, things happen in life, you realize when you go back to it, either for an exam, that there are just so many more things in there um, that you glossed over because, yeah, it's good to know, but,
Mhm.
I'll come back to that. Are you finding that you're going back and able to find nuggets within some of the materials as you're learning?
I am, yes. Especially for data analysis. Like I've had to do, excuse me, a lot of uh, data analysis lately. it's just almost out of nowhere.
Wow.
But I was like,
Power BA is going to be your friend too, then. That's probably
right,
another reason why you want to learn how to use it.
yeah. So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm still learning, but I at some point I do need to go ahead and start reviewing back over the material. I have the material and everything. I just need to get
Right.
back into it.
Well, and this isn't
So,
me calling you out. I'm not calling you out.
oh
I'm
no,
just
no.
trying to see, like from materials, right? Because we always
Mhm,
like to talk about what is it that, the members of your tribe here, what is it that we can help you being newer to the profession learn? Like, are there ways that, we can support and mentor you, in either these certifications, just having somebody to talk to about like, hey, I have this experience, can I talk about it and maybe get some insights? Maybe it's one of the certifications that, like if you can hammer it out or learn some key things, it's really going to
mhm,
help you in the near term. So it's just trying to explore like what we can do to help, because as a fellow BA, our part of our passion is just making sure that our tribe is getting what they need and everybody has the resources at hand, because that's what this community is about, right? Making
mhm.
sure that we're learning, growing, progressing, and also having a lot of fun,
Yes.
because this space can be so much fun for sure.
Mhm,
And so and speaking of fun, uh when you're, as you're a newer BA to the space, are you finding other people like around, like within your like age, not age group, that doesn't sound right, but like within your sphere? You know what I mean? It's like, are you like finding that there's a lot of BAs out there that you just didn't know that that was it? Or is it with like, oh, there needs to be a more of a focus in getting the attention?
Um, I do think it's a combination of both, but in short, yes, I have met. I mean, Aaron, he's really helped me out with getting me through the ECBA. Gave me all the materials I needed to get that, and I met Bill and some others right before the New Year's for like we had the little Christmas dinner. So yeah, it was
Nice,
really
nice,
nice.
nice. So do you have any questions for us or anybody here? I mean, I'm going to open it up to where, people can ask questions of you and just dialogue. It just doesn't have to be the two of us talking, but is there any questions that you want to pose to us? I mean, you could try to stump Aaron for one thing and see if he can answer. I think he might have dropped for a second. Okay, there you go. But do you have any questions for us?
I do actually. I was thinking, so outside of IIBA, are there any other certifications that you would possibly recommend would go hand in hand with IIBA? I know there's the PMI,
Yeah.
but also I was thinking about Six Sigma too.
Yes. Yes, I would say yes to both of those. Um, when you think about from like an IT space, right, where you came
Mhm,
from and where you're working in, there's a lot of technical certifications that you can get,
mhm,
especially with Azure, and not with Azure, but AWS and all that kind of stuff. Cloud is huge. So if it's not a technical, like where you like, I want to focus on a technical type of thing, then it really is when you're talking about expanding like your capabilities that translates across different expertise, right?
mhm,
You're saying, okay, what is it that I would want to fill the hub of my knowledge? I would definitely consider um, PMI, which is, project management, because regardless of whether you're a BA, there's always project management involved in your world, right? I mean, you most likely don't have a project manager assigned to you, attached at the hip, making sure that everything that's going on, so being able to manage something small and large is key throughout.
mhm.
And it also, as well as like, you may have opportunities where there's BA and PM roles that you can fill both because they need that. And so
Right.
I So whether you get a PMP or you just understand project management principles, you cannot go wrong with that. That translates to everything, and even your personal life. Six Sigma, I mean, that as well, you're talking about processes, and it sounds like with your process mapping that is an area that you would like. So that would 100% be something to explore. I would also maybe think about technical training in things that are of like current relevance, right? Like tools that have current relevance. Like you think about what's on your resume. Like I know how to do these types of things. And there's always that section like what software have you used? What things have you done, right? And you're typing Microsoft Word, I'm using SharePoint and all of that. But there's some in the project management space, there's some other products that are out there. Like you have, for Microsoft, you have Microsoft Project. Okay, that's a tool that people like to use. There's also Smartsheet that is really up and coming Smartsheets. And there's actually just an inexpensive certification with some training that you can get with that. And that tool is not just an Excel spreadsheet on, steroids. It's got forms, it's got all kinds of stuff, reporting. It's got a lot of things that's in there. And so a lot of people, if you're doing project management, that tool is also something that people have an interest in.
Right.
SharePoint in Microsoft, and tell me to stop when you fall asleep or when you get bored.
Oh, no.
Microsoft, there's a lot in the Microsoft space. Like when you go out in SharePoint, there's all this stuff. There's automation for things that you want to send through for approvals. There's Power BI. There's many facets of SharePoint, not only just learning how to set it up and configure it and brand it and all of that. And you can't go wrong there because every project should have some repository for its artifacts. And that translates to all the VA work you do, right? You got to put it out there, you got to share it, you got to present it to people. So knowing how to navigate and manage that, and there's certifications you can get in that, or you can just learn how best to be efficient. Because I tell you what, people, when you are online and you're presenting and you're going all over and you look very knowledgeable, sometimes it really impresses leaders for some reason. So, just being able to be a ninja in that space. Then when you think about Six Sigma, okay. And then when you think about it from like tools, like I was asking, have you had an opportunity to use like Jira with Wiki? Or have you had an opportunity to use Rally or like Azure DevOps? Those are tools that are built really for like the agile space, right? You have your information that you need in a wiki or a Word document, electronic. And then you have where you're able to do all of your epics and features and stories and whatever methodology you're using, whether Scrum or Kanban, and being able to have that really collaboration. So even if you don't know how to use the tools because you don't have them, the mindset around that is really important, right? Because everybody wants to talk about an epic feature, user stories, etc. So that space translates as well. And then, do you want me to continue? Because I can, or I could just stop here.
It's whatever.
Talking.
I will take all the help I can get.
because part of it is it's just how can you communicate with people, right? How do you elicit the information from a BA space? And so, like during some of our community events, we will use Mural or Miro, Miro, and we'll do a bunch of storyboarding or we'll do a bunch of collaborative games to gather information, right? A lot of times and you think about it, it's a whiteboard, but it's got ability to, put your Post-it notes and all of that, like you may traditionally do like on a whiteboard, right? Like everybody post a note where you're going to gather ideas and do all of that. So there's tools out there with templates that help you do all kinds of stuff. So just having, even you don't have to get a certification in it, but just having a basic understanding on how you can use these tools also then drives how you collect that information when you're talking with people, right? Like, how do you make it less of a tell me what you do to a getting them involved in a working session where they're actually putting things on the wall and the board and prioritizing things. So it just really just changes the way you do it from an old school pad of paper and notepads to things online. And then I find too, people will go back in, after all of these intense working sessions and just move things around and look at them and see them and all of that. So it's just those types of things that then go along with that core, like I know how to project manage, I know how to, use, have concepts of how to do some of these processes, plus all of the IIBA certifications, depending on your space, really kind of give you this robust package that when it's on your resume or working with people, it really does help take you to that next level.
Mhm.
And also interject some certifications in the Agile, because you had mentioned that you work primarily in Agile. And
Like
for those that
ASM.
don't know, this is Aaron Wittenberger with the Bluegrass IIBA chapter. And Kathy mentioned in the chat a little while ago when you asked about certifications, possibly getting certified as a Scrum Master.
Yeah.
So
Where's going
IIBA is really the only one that has certifications for the BA role, whether in agile, data, general business analysis, and that. But if you want some general agile, that explore all the roles within agile, scrum.org, Scrum Alliance, both have certifications in that for Scrum Master and for product owner. I lean more to the product owner. I have the CSPO from Scrum Alliance. I see Agile has a whole suite of certifications along many avenues of Agile, and that on delivery and many other aspects of Agile. There's the SAFe framework, Scale to Agile. Some definite worthwhile certifications in there as well.
So there's lots of opportunities to, take these passions in many places. And so, Aaron, did you have any questions for Justin? I've been just taking up all of his time.
No, I don't. I've been enjoying the conversation and certainly love learning more about Justin. Certainly, because he's newer to the profession, younger guy, and everything. So it's nice to hear that perspective. And I know you have the ECBA. You've taken our CBDA, our Business Data Analytics Study Group. You've mentioned Power BI a couple of times, and that so. Hopefully you'll keep going along those down that trail.
Absolutely. I just love the fact that he helped create his role. I mean, to me, that's just like crushing it. That's fantastic.
Believe me, I couldn't hardly believe it myself.
Like what an opportunity for sure. So
Oh, and I also was going to mention you work in the packaging industry and that,
Yeah.
or maybe manufacturing, and that there may be certifications in those areas. I work in finance and insurance, and that I have 3 certifications from the insurance industry as well. So, it doesn't have to be strictly business analysis or agile or project management. Certainly, look at the industry that you are working in, see if there's anything of interest there.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. And so let's open it up and see if anybody that's here. Does anybody have any questions for Justin or any recommendation or advice? I know Bill Powers was telling me that he had some questions.
I have some advice, if I could.
You
Sure.
Being the data person, because I do love data, I think that for Justin, you definitely are going down the correct path. No matter what, always the thing I love the most about the IIBA is it has such a variety of certifications because the BA world is so vast. I mean, it has so many different areas you can go with it that it's nice and in general in a lot of ways, but it also allows you to focus in, like with the CBDA, so that you're getting a, 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 a general but also focused view of it. So, you know, it offers a lot of things, but also any certification is worthwhile. I think all of these that we've talked about, whether it's Lean Six Sigma or CSM or SAFE, you just can't go wrong with them. But when it comes to data, that too, uh, a significant, if it all depends on what you want to specialize in, because I mean, data is going to be, it is and will become even much more important in the BA realm, especially if in IT, just because being able to analyze data and looking at the analytics, whether it's descriptive or predictive, being able to do that and do it quickly, whether it be Excel or Power BI, that's extremely valuable. It makes you extremely valuable as a project member to be able to show the analytics to your team. But yeah, you know what? That's the thing I love the most about the IIBA is that we have such a variety of presentations that happen that it keeps you more well-rounded. So that, but soft skills, that's another major thing that, and the only way to really, I think, to really work on your soft skills is just like doing things like this, where you're presenting and and just experience that all helps with your soft skills, but the hard skills too.
Getting out of your comfort space and build that
Yes.
excellent advice, because we appreciate you willing to be our BA on the street this month, because it's not easy to, come out and share your story and engage in conversation. So we definitely appreciate it. And also too, we just want to make sure that, people hear your story and if they have something that they can do to, help somebody within our community, they can, and just that advice as well. So let's see, we've covered all of the predefined questions, and let's see if we have any more questions. If not, we can we could always wrap up early and then take some of the stuff that you've talked about, Justin, and then I'll be getting back with you on some additional thoughts on some connections that you might be able to make as well with some people in the community that are really into data that you could, make a connection with, because we want to make sure that that you meet as many people as you can. That's going to help you with your career.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have a question from Larice.
Hello, everyone. I've been enjoying the conversation, and thank you, Justin, for sharing your story. I'm new to the role of BA. Actually, I'm still in the learning phase. But I noticed that just being a member of IIBA, that some chapters are a little bit more active than others. So what would be the recommendation for trying to find a mentor if I am in an area where it may not be as many activities or study groups and things like that? How can I find a mentor or connect?
That's a really good question.
And it's to anyone. It's to anyone.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I would say definitely, I mean, the community can't go wrong. I don't know where you're based or anything, but since I've joined the Bluegrass chapter of IIBA, I've gotten all the help that I need, especially from Aaron. I couldn't thank him enough, but he's definitely a great mentor / advocate. And as far as I would, I don't know if there's somebody like if who you report to, if they're mentoring you or if they have any type of um, training that the company offers.
Well,
Uh,
that's the thing. My situation is a little different. I'm currently a small business owner, so I will be going into the field still as a business owner and
mm,
consultant. So I work for myself, so I don't have that community
gotcha.
like within a corporation. I formerly worked for Xerox for 12 years, but I've been
Mm,
on my own since 2016. And I'm in the
okay,
Dallas area. I know you mentioned where I am. I'm in the outside of Dallas, Texas.
gotcha. Okay. Yeah, they do. We do. I don't know if what chapter there is down in Texas or anything, but uh the Bluegrass chapter, they do provide specific webinars to go over like specific certifications and stuff that's you could just sign up for. Um, so that's the best I don't know if Stephanie had anything,
No,
but
I, well, what I'd like to expand upon that because I became a member of the Bluegrass chapter and involved in it just the way that you're starting out here. Meaning I was looking for people in the BA space because that was a space that even though my role typically isn't a BA, I do so much BA work. And when I came across the Bluegrass chapter, Aaron and Bill, both leaders, and it made me feel extremely welcome. And Aaron and Bill and all of the rest of the leaders have been very much wanting to make sure that you have what you need, right? Whether it's, a conversation or how can I do a certification, et cetera. So don't hesitate to reach out and to let, just engage and we can engage with you. And then most of our, if you go out to our website for IIBA, bluegrass.iiba.org, most of the, other than the training, most of these kind of events are free, right? We do all kinds of free events so that there's not a charge to show up and engage. And we really want people to have conversation because it's much more fun to have a conversation than for people to join and not say a word, right? And so with that, you will be able to try to, in that mentoring, we'll be able to help you find a person or persons that can help you grow, right? You know what I mean? If it's an area that you need expertise in, or if you even want to be involved in just the chapter itself, there's always lots of opportunities to do all kinds of volunteer stuff as well. So, and then
Okay.
Aaron, you're still on, right? Obviously, you're still on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, Aaron, well, he doesn't like me to say it, is the 2023 Southeast US Volunteer of the Year. He won the global award for our region. So super proud of
Congratulations.
him. So that just tells you how passionate he is about making sure that people have the resources in the friendship and whatever it is. And Justin, I mean, you nailed it on the head. I mean, you want to be engaged or you want to figure out like how to make the BA space, find a niche in it or whatever. The Bluegrass chapter is ideal. I don't live in Kentucky. I live in Michigan and we have a chapter that's active that I participate in, but I found more of a home here because of the engagement and I always felt welcomed. You know what I mean? That's critical, right? Like I'm spending my time. I at least want to know that people know that I'm here, which is why we try to, engage with people, right? Like, do you have questions? Do you want to talk? It's like this is for all of us. It's not just, for somebody to come and present. So however it is that this chapter can help you, you've got lots of resources here that are willing to do that.
Thank you so much. I guess I was just under the impression that you joined the one, far as location, but I'm glad to hear that it's virtual and I can jump in. So thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in most of the chapters, I mean, we definitely would love you to be part of our chapter. And we have global members. It's not just you have to be in Kentucky. But most of the chapters have interactions with one another. Like we personally as a chapter do all kinds of joint other chapter events, right? And we're not taking their members and they're not taking ours. It's just how can we expand the community and have as many people be involved with one another because, if you need something or know something, you're building that community. So yeah, don't be afraid to go to any chapter and participate and join. I mean, you may get a different experience depending on who they are, but it's definitely an open to everyone for sure. And there's a lot of really amazing people across the chapters that I'm sure you'd find a lot of resources there as well. Okay, so with that, we're getting close to the time. I just want to check to see if anybody has any more questions. And Erin had posted in the chat a link to join our mailing list. And of course, you can always go to our website and reach out to us. And so with that, if nobody has any questions, we're gonna wrap up. And then Justin, it has been a pure delight getting the opportunity to know you and to have this conversation, and really looking forward to continuing our conversations even outside of BAs on the Street. But thank you for being January 2024's BA on the Street for the Bluegrass chapter. You are greatly appreciated, and we are so proud of what you have accomplished. So
thank you.
Amazing work.
Thanks.
Fantastic job. Awesome. So with that, we'll wrap up. And then Erin or Bill, do you have any last things that you want to join in?
Just going to expand on what you just said for Larice, and that is, I just put in a chat, if you're interested in generative AI, chat GTP, how business analysts can use that and that to expand upon what Steph just said about us working with other chapters and everything. This webinar that I just put in the chat is we have the guy from BA Experts, Tom Hathaway, coming to speak on GPT, blah, blah, blah. And we put a coalition of 11 chapters together that is supporting that, because Tom is charging us a speaker fee. You know, we got 11 chapters to support that, to split that speaker fee and that, and we were the ones that put that correlation together. And we've participated in other coalitions to put on such webinars. We also have a ton of study groups for all the IIBA certifications that we put on throughout the year. The CPOA, the product ownership analysis, is the next one that is later this month, and the early bird ends tomorrow. So if you're really interested in that study group, you know, get into study group, register by tomorrow to get the best price that you're going to get on that one.
Excellent.
We have a lot going on in the Bluegrass chapter. We are the most active chapter in the IIBA chapter network. And, you know, everybody is always welcome. Like Steph said, you don't have to be in Kentucky to participate.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, with that, we'll wrap it up. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. You stay healthy and warm, and have a great rest of your January, and look forward to seeing you at future events.
Most
Thank you
definitely.
again, Justin.
Thank you for having me. Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Steph.
Okay.
Yes, thanks everyone.
Take care, everyone. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.